Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. It's our pleasure to welcome for the first time, won't be the last. He just turned 20 years of age. He was a star on Broadway.
Yep.
From Montclair, New Jersey, Collin Kelly-Sordelet.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for having me.
You were at Juilliard, but you left Juilliard.
Yes, indeed.
If I'm wrong, you're going to tell me this. And you left Juilliard to go perform in The Last Ship, which is Sting's play.
Yeah, his new musical.
His new musical, which closed.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, Dad, things happen. It's part of life.
Happens, yeah.
You played young Gideon and also Tom Dawson.
Yes.
So you admit all these things.
Yes, I do.
All right, an amazing career at 20 years of age.
We'll see what happens from here, though.
I got to ask you. So when you make the decision, you're at Juilliard, and you make the decision, you say, I'm at Juilliard, you just get there for 2 minutes, you're there for a hot minute, and they come to you. How do you even get this thing? How does it even happen?
Well, I was really fortunate. I got an agent when I was about 17. I was in high school. Someone took a video of one of the performances I did and put it on YouTube, and then a family friend passed it off to an agent, and they contacted me, and then I ended up signing with them and just went on open calls all the time and had a few appointments, and then I eventually went in for The Last Ship. And I went and did the workshop, the 2-week workshop in the spring of 2013. And so I got to work with Joe Mantello and John Logan and Sting.
Look at you get a name dropper.
I do my best. And Sting, it was really funny because I was still in high school at the time. So I would go and do this workshop during the day and go home and do my high school musical at night. And so it was hilarious going. I'm like working with Sting in the mornings and then going to like these like kind of terrible tech rehearsals at night, but working with friends, so it was a very humbling experience.
Yeah, okay, so while we're getting ready to show a clip, but I have to ask you this. When you're doing the Sting thing, and you have to describe the first time you met him, but you're doing the Sting thing, you're hanging around Sting, who is just the best, extraordinary, you know, he is Sting. And you're going back Montclair High, doing your musical. At a certain point, when they're dealing with whatever issues that happen in High School Musical, do you say, time out? I was just with Sting today. You got to be kidding me with this. Did you ever remind people who you were working with during the day?
I tried not to. I tried not to because I think part of it was the whole kind of learning curve of how to work in multiple different environments, whether it's a professional or kind of less professional environment, because I think you have to hold yourself to a specific standard no matter what.
When did you get so grounded?
I don't know, man.
Now, your family's connected to the business.
Family's connected, so I kind of just learned. Well, my father's a fight choreographer, and he's done some 60+ credits on Broadway. He's done all like the big Disney musicals. He did Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, and
he's a fight choreographer.
Fight choreographer, so he stages all the fights and all those.
Biggies.
Well, I mean, let's see, what else did he's currently working on a show called Big Love at Signature Theater.
What fights did he come on, some big fights.
I mean, like the Scar fight, the Scar and Simba fight in
That's
Lion King.
Huge.
Yeah, he did that. He did Gaston versus the Beast, and he did, they're all like kind of flooding in my mind.
Yeah, but also your mom.
And my mom, yeah, both my parents they met at a Mason Gross at Rutgers in the graduate program. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I actually almost went there. And so they met in the graduate program.
But you picked a lesser place, Juilliard.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, they were kind of nice to me.
Yeah, right.
No, they were.
So you come from a performance, you kind of driven family. Can we take a look at The Last Ship?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at The Last Ship. You're good in this. Let's take a look.
What have we got? You gotten out. We gotten out else. Hey, what have you got? What have we got? What have you got? What have we got? You gotten out. We gotten out else.
For those who don't know, the premise of The Last Ship is?
It really focuses on the community of Wall's End. It's a shipbuilding community in like the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And it primarily focuses on the story of Gideon, who left for 15 years, getting away, not wanting to be in building ships and working in this dangerous ship community. That role was played by Michael Esper, but I played a young Gideon when he's 15 years old, about 15, 16 years old, and is really fighting with his father about having to move into the shipyards and kind of following the path of his forefathers. And so he decides that he's going to go and leave this town because he has much bigger dreams, and so he runs off and goes on ships and works as like a sailor for about 15 years and comes back for his father's funeral, and also to kind of rekindle his old love of Meg. And he learns that he has a son, and kind of is dealing with having to become a father and trying to rekindle that relationship, that lost relationship with her, and she's now with someone else.
Interesting stuff.
While the shipyards are actually closing as well. And so it's all of this trying to...
a lot of it was Sting's early life.
A lot of it takes place about, it's not so much autobiographical about Sting's own life, but about the community in which he grew up in and that raised him.
Let me ask you this. Describe the first time you met him.
First time I met Sting was my first audition for the Last Ship's workshop. And so I walk in, I guess it was my callback. And so I walk into the room, and there's people lined at pianos and all at the desk, and then I see in the back there's Sting with his feet up on a table, just like chilling out. And I'm just like, that's Sting. Like, oh my God. And so it's taking everything for me to not like run over and like rub his head for luck or something, or start breaking out and singing Roxanne. And he was phenomenal. And from that moment on, he was always so kind and generous and so professional and such a laid back guy. Like,
was he laid back in the elevator when you met him?
When I met him in the elevator, we had just finished up doing a charity CD. It's for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. It's called Carols for a Cure. And so we all did our own song. We did a song done by Sting. It's called Soul Cake. And so we just finished up rehearsal, and we get in the elevator, and I'm inches from Sting. And as a joke, I'm just like, Sting, I've never been so close to you. And he goes, don't stand so close to me. And I'm just like, no. Like, did he actually? And everyone in the elevator just goes like, oh. It was so funny.
He's a great guy?
He was a great guy. I miss him. Like, that's, like, honestly, in this past week since the show is closed, I think one of the hardest parts is not being surrounded by the wonderful people I got to work with every day.
Like a family?
It was a family. It became a family.
What did you do for an encore?
You mean after the show?
Meaning, if you try to go back to Juilliard, you have to audition again?
Yeah, I have to reapply and re-audition. So
Can't you just say, I worked with Sting, just let me back in?
I wish it worked that way.
It doesn't
I really
work that
did.
way?
Unfortunately, it doesn't.
That place is tough.
It is. I loved it there, and it was a wonderful experience. And I would do, if I could do it all over again, I would do the same thing.
Meaning you wouldn't pass that up?
I couldn't have passed up Juilliard, and I couldn't have passed up The Last Ship. I mean, they were both these huge things for me. But that was definitely the hardest decision I ever made in terms of leaving Juilliard. It took me a solid 2 weeks of just weighing my options. Am I gonna do it? Should I stay? Should I leave?
And now you start all over again.
And now I start all over again. And where I'm kind of at right now is, if I'm gonna audition, I kind of want to just audition professionally and kind of continue to work for a career. I completely reserve the right to go back to school. I'm just not quite sure when that's gonna be yet.
And you're ready for everything, rejection, challenges,
Absolutely.
ups, downs, all of it.
I think part of it is you have to be able to separate yourself from the audition and from the work that you're doing. That you put all your work into it and you work really hard for that audition, but when you walk out of that room, you have to let it go and you have to be comfortable with whatever the outcome's going to be. Because if you can't take it personally. You can't take this rejection personally, because oftentimes you'll walk in the room and you just don't look like what they had in mind, or it's
How old are you again? 40?
Something like that. I don't know. I always forget. People keep reminding me. They're like, Collin, you're only like 19. I'm like, what?
Why'd you get there? Wait a minute. Did you say you're 20?
I'm 20 now. Yeah.
You're not 19.
See, I forgot.
Stop.
Okay.
You're getting more mature every day. Listen, Collin, we wish you nothing but the best, and
Thank you so
everyone
much.
who happens to be from Montclair and others are very proud of you, and just keep doing what you're doing, and
Thank you so much.
keep that very positive attitude.
I'll do my best. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Hey,
Thank you
keep
so
it
much
up.
for having me.
Stay with us. One-on-one. We'll be right back right after this. That was great.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, Bergen Community College, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, New Jersey Natural Gas, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by the law firm of Gibbons, P.C. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.